This is Joshua Hart here for Seconds Out. Delighted today to be joined by top trainer Stephen Smith here at the Old Town Hotel in York Hall. Stephen, it is fight week. Charlie Edwards challenges for the European title this Friday night. How is everything, first of all?
Unbelievable, mate. I think I couldn't have asked for better preparation for Charlie. Really, he's left no stone unturned, and he's done everything asked of him, and he's in really good shape. I think everyone will see when he weighs in the shape he's in, and then fight night they'll see how well prepared he is, because, as I say, mate, he's done everything I've asked of him, and couldn't do any more for this. So I'm proud of him.
One thing that I've noticed talking to Charlie, not just today, but I spoke to him over Zoom when the fight was first announced, is he seems that he's in the happiest place he's ever been when it comes to his boxing career. When he speaks and when he talks, you can see he really means what he's saying. How good has it been for you? Obviously, you can see the difference that you're making on him. How good is it to see that, and just to see how happy he really is now?
Listen, it's a pleasure for me as his coach. I know the saying, a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter, and I just want to see me fighters happy, and knowing that everything's getting done and they're improving as fighters, and I definitely believe that with Charlie. We've covered every base. Tactically, we're more than prepared for this fight. We've covered everything Thomas can possibly do, and we've trained, as he said before, we've trained for the best version of Thomas, and ultimately I think the best version of Thomas turns up. Charlie beats him anyway. The best version of Charlie is a lot better than that, so we're fully prepared. But I do honestly think people are going to sit up and take notice, because I think Charlie's going to show a clinical performance on Friday.
And in this build-up, we've seen a lot of talk about the brotherhood between Sonny and Charlie, and almost I feel like the fact that this is for a European title has almost been forgotten about. How important has it been for you to install in Charlie's head that this isn't about the family feud, this is about getting that European title and pushing yourself and setting yourself up for even bigger opportunities?
Yeah, listen, from our side, from my side, for me preparing my fighter for this fight, I've just put it to Charlie as, look, can you name any other fighter you've fought? Can you name who the manager was? Did it ever bother you who the manager was? So you can't let this, this has got to be the same mentality. You've got to go and seek and destroy against your opponent. Do your job against your opponent. It doesn't matter who his trainer is, doesn't matter who his manager is. You don't go into any fight thinking, oh, he's got this team member or he's got this team member. It's an individual sport at the end of the day, and you've got to go and beat your opponent, and you get the title off him, and that's his job this time round. He's got to blank out the fact that Sonny's his manager, and look, you've got to look at it from both sides. Look, I can sit there and say, look, has Sonny got the best opportunity for this fighter? Yeah, he has. So, every credit to him. It is what it is. Would I go against my brother? Definitely not. You know what I mean? But look, you've seen him sat here and you've seen him say himself, look, at the end of the day, they wanted different opportunities and it didn't come about. And he took the best opportunity for this fighter and got him the best payday he could get him, in the highest name fighter he could get. And for him, it was his brother. So that's his route. That's the one they've gone down, and it's led us to here. Am I happy that Charlie's got this fight? Yeah, I think it's tailor-made for him, and I think his performance will make a statement and show that.
Was this fight, it was not about, for you guys, it's not about the brothership, it's not about the brotherhood, it's about that European title, isn't it? What I said to Charlie is, it wouldn't have mattered who's across the ring from you. If they've got that title, that's what you want.
Yeah, we haven't seeked this fight out because it's a fighter that Sonny Edwards manages. That's got absolutely nothing to do with it from our side. We've gone for the European title because it's a good, prestigious title. It's one of the traditional belts, and Charlie's never won it before, so it's a great route to get him a higher ranking. They've got a good relationship with WBC, so Charlie's a former WBC champion, so that'll push him up in them rankings also. And if we win this en route to becoming world champion, then it's the traditional route and it's the proper way to go about things. And I've got a traditional fighter in Charlie, so he's going to do things properly, and he's going to go in there again, perform really well, and make people sit up and take notice again that he's back with a bang and he's looking to be a two-weight world champion.
And what type of fight do you expect from Thomas Asomba on Friday night?
Again, preparing for the best of Thomas, but we've covered all bases. Thomas is the first to tell you his last performance wasn't his best, and I can see that. But again, I'm not like these fickle boxing fans who think a bad performance makes you a bad fighter. I know he just probably didn't have his best night. That's fine. I've studied him at his best. I've studied him in every recent performances and past ones, performances where he stood orthodox, performances where he stood southpaw, and again the things he does well, I think Charlie does better. I think it's going to be interesting to see what approach he brings to this fight, because again I know what we've worked on, and I still think he plays into our hands, so I'm excited. I just want Charlie to do what he's been doing and, you know, go and win a European title and add that to his resume.
And as well, I've got to get your thoughts on what we saw at the weekend. We finally saw Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois, monster fight at Wembley Stadium, and in what was a shock upset as Daniel Dubois dominated Anthony Joshua. When that fight was going on, what was going through your mind as it was all unfolding?
I was more sort of, you know, obviously being a complete neutral in the fight. I was impressed with Daniel's attitude. He just basically marched in there with a point to prove. He looked really up for the fight, and it was just seek and destroy mentality from him. He come out and he jumped on AJ early, and I feel he landed big in round one. I don't feel AJ ever recovered. I don't think he really knew where he was. You seen him round 4 or 5, whatever it was, and he got knocked down. He's standing there, the referee's standing in front of him counting, and he's doing all this, touching his shoulder. I just don't think he was all there, to be honest with you. Tried so hard and fought valiantly to try and turn the fight back around, but ultimately fell short. And I think it was a great fight, great spectacle for boxing. It got so many views and so many eyes on our sport, which is always good for the sport. And you know, AJ's done that throughout his career. He's been an unbelievable ambassador for the sport, and you know, everyone in British boxing owes him, you know, a thank you, because he's the man, he's the main man who's brought all the eyes to the sport. And I think tactically you'll watch it back and think there's things he got wrong. I think his approach, thought his head was a bit high. Maybe he could have done things slightly different, made a few adjustments, but there's nothing he can adjust and put right to come forward. I do think he's still got a career in the sport. I do think he's got a future in the sport, but ultimately it's his choice. And I think I've heard already in interviews him saying that he still wants to fight on. And can he do it? Yeah, I think he definitely can. He's just got to make. There's only slight adjustments to make, and he's right in and amongst all these fighters at heavyweight, because I think they can all probably beat each other. I think Usyk's put himself out there as the main man at the minute, but there's nothing telling me that Fury couldn't beat him. There's nothing telling me that other heavyweights couldn't land on Usyk and beat him. I think Usyk's a favourite for a reason, but they can all beat each other, definitely.
One thing I want to get your thoughts on, there's a little segment of the fight, just as AJ sits down in the corner. I want to say it's after the third where he got dropped. He says to Ben Davison, he calls Daniel Dubois shit. He says he's not very good. As a trainer, if you had one of your fighters come back to the corner after getting knocked down for a second time, and they start saying that someone's shit, what are you doing in that moment as a coach?
Again, I think that's down to Anthony not knowing really where he was. I think he's just on autopilot. I've had fighters in the past, in the amateurs and stuff, where they've been dropped heavy in a fight. They've got up and won the fight on points and been sitting there afterwards and started crying like, what happens now that I've lost? And you're like, you won. They don't remember nothing after the knockdown. And I'm pretty sure that happened with Joshua. I don't think he really knew where he was, and the stuff that was coming out of his mouth, you know. If someone sat there and said to me, look, he's shit, I'd say, well, keeps putting you on your ass, like, sort it out, know what I mean? It's all well and good calling someone shit. If they're winning the fight against you and they keep putting you over, then you've got to put something right then. If someone shit's doing that to you, then you need to stand up and do something about it, type of thing. But again, I don't think it was the time to really jump on him and call him, and because I don't think he knew what he was saying. I don't think he knew where he was. Bless him at the time. So I think he'll watch that back and think things to put right, things to make the adjustments, and I think it just all adds to the story. If he goes out and he gets that rematch and he wins and becomes a 3-time heavyweight champion of the world, then it's a massive statement made, and it's a big thing, because there's a lot of people writing him off and thinking that he couldn't do that, and he can't get back to that level.
What chances do you give Anthony Joshua in the rematch against Daniel Dubois?
I think that there's a lot of factors that come into play. If they were to basically announce a fight now and they're fighting in a month's time, then I'd say next to none. He's got to rest and recover from that. It was a punishing loss. You know, he was on the floor out many times and he took some really big shots. Again, testament to his heart and courage that he fought on as valiantly as he did. And he nearly turned it around at the end. He landed a big right hand, and then unfortunately for him, he went forward trying to throw an uppercut, which I don't think is a front foot shot anyway. I think he was too exposed and he got called for it. But listen, getting knocked down, getting knocked out, trying to win is okay. Do you know what I mean? If he would have just tried to basically shell up and settle for the points lost, then he wouldn't have got no respect from the fight. So, you know, every credit to him, give it all he had. I think back to the question you asked, if he goes and rests and recovers properly, makes the adjustments he's got to make, you know, looks at things what tactically he set up wrong with, then he can beat any of them. He definitely can. I think the best AJ, you know, the Olympic gold medalist, the two-time world champion, he's good enough to beat any of them out there, especially with the power he carries. He's just got to, again, make the adjustments he needs to make and put it right. Look, if you're asking me, is Dubois the main man now, and is he unbeatable? No, he's not. Obviously, Usyk's beaten before, and I think, you know, him to come back from what happened with Joe Joyce and be where he is now and an amazing performance against Joshua shows you that people can come back from losses. And, you know, his loss, I had less respect for him after his loss to Joyce than I have for Joshua after that loss. I think Joshua come out with, you know, a lot. There was plaudits to be given. Again, Saturday, I don't think. So technically, with his head was high and stuff, I don't think he got things right, but he can make them adjustments, definitely.
Well, Stephen, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it as always, and best of luck on Friday night.
No problem,
Cheers.
mate. Thank you.
Cheers. Nice one. Thank you very much, mate.